I believe that our working together with the CARICOM 10-point plan on reparatory justice, which has been revised and which we have brought some copies here to share in Accra, will add to the excellent work which you are doing and the establishment of the committees that will carry on the work for our people.
After the UN General Assembly, several of our partners asked me, say, so after that, what next? And I said, well, just wait. We did this together. We must decide the next steps together. And that's why Ghana took it upon itself to call for this Next Steps conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I'm very glad this indicator commentary. Now, there is this lady that God sent for black people and more so Jamaicans in the name of Mia Motley. Whenever Mia Motley talks, she talks for not for her own benefit. She talks for the generation to come. She talks for the generation that is at the moment. Now, here I have a video that she's talking about reparation for the transatlantic slave trade that has remained symbolic, passionate speech, but little concrete action. Now, leaders from Africa and the Caribbean are signaling that the time for discussion is over. It is the time for implementation. Not only in Africa, but the whole world. Now, stay tuned as we dive deeper in this video so that we can see why this God-sent woman is making historic every now and then concerning reshaping international conversation about slavery, colonialism, and historical accountability. So, stay tuned and remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
June to remember. Welcome to Ghana. This news happened in Ghana. I know a lot of people see it. I just want to explain small about what I feel about this news. President John Dramani Mahama, the sitting president of Ghana, Assembly, the head of state, president of Africa in Accra for this summit. And the name of the summit is Next Step. And this next step, what is it for? This is not just about loan. This is not about gaining momentum. This is not about showing how Ghana or how the president. No. The meeting in Ghana, in Accra, is not for them to go and borrow loan. It's about addressing the historical injustice linked to slave trade, colonization, and resources exploitation. Somebody say power. You see, I said it before. I said it's time for whole Africa, for we to break the border and stop saying this is not my country, this is their country, let them face their country, we face our country. Some country may be making mistake they don't know. So when we, the neighboring country, can see their mistake and we can be able to shout for the benefit of all of us. We cannot be 54 and we are all useless. President of Ghana is pushing hard and we need to protect Ghana. Remember, this is how Liberia pushed hard the last time and they bounced on Liberia. Maybe you may not know, but I know what I'm saying. President of Ghana is pushing. The last time they pushed about the Caribbean. And you see what happened? The push, Ghana president push for Caribbean. And now Ghana president come back to Africa, come back home and mobilize all. Liberia was there, Sierra Leone, Namibia, every president was assembling in that summit. And they call it Next Step, which they are calling all what has happened in slave trade, colonial, everything, all the looting and all of that. The president of Ghana is leading it again. I want all the media, military, the Pan-African military, all the lovers of the Sahel to focus a little bit on Ghana. Because when they say they want to come for Ghana for what Ghana is leading, we can all be able to support Ghana and protect the president. Now, President John Dramani Mahama is having just 4 years in office. And that is my fear. Because this man don't have enough time. I don't know this constitution that said when you come to power and you have to just go after 2 times. What if the person is good? Me, I'm thinking Ghana should rethink and give this man another 4 years. I swear. Because what Mahama is doing, only few democratic president can do it. Few. President Mahama, hey, this man is pushing hard. He's touching some places that many presidents don't want to touch. Ghana is pushing for something that other people are running away from. And Ghana is under democratic rule, not a military rule. You know, this is the difference between military and democratic rule. Military can decide what they want to decide. If you want to go, you know, when you want to fight, they can fight you. But most democratic presidents, they have to think a lot. They have to think a lot. They just have to think a lot because they are democratic. They are not military. So many things cannot just be done the way they want, and that is why a lot of our presidents in Africa look useless, because they are all tied for something that they are the only one that know about it. So Ghana is pushing hard. Ghana is risking for all of us. This is good. I see it in Ghana. They are parading all the slave trade. They go to that coastal, you know, that gate of no return is beautiful. A lot of African youth, Pan-African, supposed to be there. We're supposed to be there. I don't know. I'm not aware of this. I swear to God, this is what we're supposed to be doing. Pan-African people are supposed to stand up and, you know, travel, go places that matters. Now, President of Ghana is pushing this again. They bring France on board, bring every president on board. They are asking questions. It may not be funny. They may not look away, because this is bringing a global disgrace to them. This is bringing back history that they want us to forget. So if President of Ghana is doing this, we have to support him. President John Dramani Mahama is another revolutionary president on a suit. And Ghana is leading hard. We need to give them their flower. Ghana is leading. Many things Ghana is doing, other nations supposed to do it. But you know, Ghana is the first nation to get independent. Ghana is the first people to do, you know. So when Ghana, Liberia do something, sometimes I'm not shocked, because it's in the blood of the country. That is the foundation of the nation. That is the foundation of Ghana, to lead and push for something like this. In Liberia, I see Liberia president was there, you know, beside the president of Ghana. I think history is coming back. I just want the people that love Africa to just stand up and focus. Let all of us wash Ghana. Let us wash Ghana. Let us... I know what I'm saying, but I don't know, maybe you people understand. But kudos to the president of Ghana and the cabinet. You make us proud, and we love it. And God bless Ghana. And very soon we are going to come as a youth to make a program, to make a summit in Ghana, just to appreciate the president of Ghana. I mean, the recent president, the way he's doing things, I love it. I swear to God, I love it. It may not be in a revolutionary way, but he's doing his own revolution on suits. He's doing it, even if he's friends with them, you know, but he's doing it, and he's showing to them that I don't care about your relationship with you, but what I care is my continent. I don't know when will President Mahama will be the African or African Union president before he come out of power, because Ghana now have 4 years to give this man, and they're supposed to put this man in African Union president as soon as possible. I don't know what is going on. Mahama is doing a lot, not only for Ghana, but across the border, for the continent. So why don't we give this man, even this African Union, because the people that are in Addis Ababa, I don't know what they are smoking up. I don't know. God bless Ghana. And once again, President Mahama, we are proud of you. The youth of diaspora that we see beyond, we know what you are doing, we know what you are risking, and we are proud of you. And I wish Ghana can give you another 4 years.
The Caribbean wants reparations, Africa wants reparations, Black America wants reparations. But here's the question that nobody asks. Could they force Europe and America to pay? The answer is yes, and I'm about to show you exactly how. Peace, family, and welcome back to the Quiet Rebirth TV. I'm Tila, and today we are talking about something powerful, something overdue, and something the world isn't ready for. What would happen if Africa and the Caribbean teamed up and demanded reparations together? If you're ready to awaken, remember, and rebirth, let's get into it. Part 1. Who is asking for reparations right now? Reparations is not just a Black American conversation. All across the world, Jamaica, Barbados, Haiti, Trinidad, Guyana, Belize, St. Lucia, Grenada, and the Bahamas, plus African countries like Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Namibia, Ethiopia are demanding reparations from Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, the Netherlands, and the United States. The list is huge. The Caribbean is already organized through CARICOM. Africa is gaining strength through the African Union, but the game changes if they unite. Part 2, why reparations are legally possible. Most people think reparations can't happen, but legally, reparations are possible when there is documented harm, clear responsibility, historical evidence, economic impact, international support. And guess what? Slavery, colonization, and genocide are extremely well documented. Europe kept records, America kept records, plantation logs, shipping logs, slave ship manifests, population data, economic data, violence records, colonial financial documents. The evidence already exists. The question is not, do we have proof? The question is, do we have power? Part 3, why the Caribbean has the strongest reparations case. CARICOM, the group of Caribbean nations, already created a 10-point reparations plan. This includes debt forgiveness, land return, economic repair, educational support, cultural repatriation, development programs, and apologies. The Caribbean has legal teams, historians, documentations, and political unity. They are the best positioned group on earth to demand reparations. Part 4, why Africa strengthens the case. Africa brings population power, resource power, voting power, moral authority, historical continuity, and global alliances. If Caribbean nations team up with Africa, that becomes the largest moral, historical, and political demand for reparations the world has ever seen. Part 5, how reparations can be forced, the 4 pathways. Now let's get into the part that nobody explains. Pathway 1, economic pressure. Africa and the Caribbean can demand higher taxes on foreign companies, nationalizing resources, refusing unfair trade deals, increasing export fees, blocking certain Western access. If Europe and America lose African minerals or Caribbean trade routes, they feel the pressure fast. Pathway 2, diplomatic unity. If Africa and the Caribbean start voting together at the UN, that's 70 plus countries demanding reparations. They can pass resolutions, demand investigations, pressure Western governments, shift global alliances. Europe can't outvote them. Pathway 3, legal tribunals. They can create their own international court and try the West in African Union tribunals, Caribbean regional courts, and Global South human rights courts. Even if the West refuses to show up, the verdict will stand as a global moral judgment. Pathway 4, resource leverage. This is the nuclear option. Africa controls cobalt, diamonds, gold, oil, lithium, copper, and gas. Caribbean controls shipping routes, tourism power, and cultural influence. If these regions unite and say, we want reparations or we restrict access, the world economy shakes. Part 6, the West fears precedent. If one nation pays reparations to Africa or the Caribbean, every nation might have to pay. The US could owe 14 to 17 trillion, the Britain could owe 10 trillion plus, France could owe billions for Haiti alone, Belgium could owe untold trillions for the Congo. That's why the West avoids this topic. Not because reparations are impossible, but because they're too possible. Part 7, the spiritual side of reparations. This is bigger than money. Reparations spiritually represent acknowledgement, healing, rebalance, restoration, truth-telling, and ancestral justice. The ancestors aren't silent. The world is shifting. The global South is rising. The West is weakening. The truth is surfacing. Reparations is not a question of if, it's a question of when. Family. Africa and the Caribbean absolutely can force reparations, not through begging, but through unity, power, and strategy. When our nations come together, the world has to listen. If this message has reached your spirit, subscribe and join the Rebirth Tribe. Drop your thoughts in the comments because every voice matters in this awakening. Until next time, stay protected, stay informed, and stay in your power.
Greetings to all Africans at home and across the global African family. And this is United States of Africa TV. My name is Akosua Prempe and I am broadcasting from the United States of Africa. In today's important broadcast, we bring you a powerful update from the African Union Summit, where President John Dramani Mahama, serving as the African Union champion for reparations, has outlined Africa's next major diplomatic move at the United Nations. Ghana, with the endorsement of the African Union, is leading a historic effort to table a resolution declaring the trafficking in enslaved Africans and racialized chattel enslavement as the gravest crime against humanity. This is not just about history. This is about truth, justice, recognition, and the future of Africa and the African diaspora. The resolution seeks global acknowledgement of the transatlantic slave trade as a foundational injustice that continues to shape structural inequality, racial discrimination, and economic disparity in today's world. President Mahama emphasized that this initiative is not directed at any nation, but toward moral courage, reconciliation, and a united continental voice. With Africa and CARICOM now speaking with one voice, diplomatic engagements are underway in New York to build global consensus before the resolution is formally tabled at the United Nations General Assembly. This moment could mark a turning point in how Africa positions itself in the emerging global order, no longer as a silent victim, but as a united force demanding truth and justice.
Thank you for staying tuned. I know you have enjoyed the video. Here is my summary from what I see. Now, this conference was given the name Next Steps Summit, which represented the significant shift in the reparation movement. Rather than focusing solely on moral arguments, leaders concentrated on developing legal, diplomatic, and institutional strategies capable of producing lasting results. Ghana's President, John Dramani Mahama, emerged as one of the driving forces behind this new direction, emphasizing that meaningful progress requires practical action backed by strong institutions. One of the summit's most important achievements was the introduction of a comprehensive 19-point global framework for reparatory justice. Unlike traditional discussions centered only on financial compensations, this framework takes a much broader approach. It addresses debt justice, recognizing how colonial exploitation continues to affect many developing nations economically. It also calls for the return of stolen cultural artifacts that remains in museums and private collections around the globe. The framework further emphasizes educational investment, historical truth, cultural restoration, and institutional reforms designed to repair generations of inequality created by slavery and colonial rule. Supporters argue that reparation should not simply involve writing checks, but should focus on restoring opportunities, preserving history, and creating fair system for future generations. Recognizing that such an ambitious agenda requires expert guidance, President Mahama announced the establishment of 3 specialized panels that will support the movement over the long term. The first is a global advisory panel that will coordinate international cooperation and policy recommendations. The second is a legal panel tasked with developing legal arguments and pursuing international avenues for justice. Finally, an expert panel on restitution will focus on the recovery of stolen cultural treasures and broader restitution efforts. These institutions are intended to ensure that the movement remains organized, evidence-based, and legal prepared for what will undoubtedly be a long and challenging process. Another powerful theme throughout the summit was unity. Leaders stressed that African and Caribbean share a common history shaped by slavery, colonialism, and exploitation. Instead of pursuing separate campaigns, they believe their greatest strength lies in presenting a united voice on the international stage. By working together as one coalition, they hope to increase diplomatic influence and make it increasingly difficult for major global powers to dismiss their demands. Perhaps the boldest initiative discussed during the conference involved the United Nations. Ghana, working closely with the African Union, is preparing to introduce a resolution before the UN General Assembly, seeking official recognition of the transatlantic slave trade and rationalized chattel enslavement as crimes against humanity. Such recognition will carry enormous symbolic and legal significance, potentially strengthening future reparations claims under international law. Of course, participants openly acknowledge that this journey will not be easy. Political resistance, legal complexities, and differing international interests remain significant obstacles. Many countries that benefited economically from slavery may oppose reparation or challenge legal responsibility. Nevertheless, supporters believe that the movement has reached an entirely new phase, one focused on concrete implementation rather than symbolic declaration. The summit concluded with a sense of cautious optimism. While no one expects immediate victory, leaders believe they have laid the institutional foundation necessary to sustain the campaign for years to come. Through legal action, diplomatic engagement, scholarship research, and international cooperation, they hope to transform decades of advocacy into measurable progress. Whether one agrees with every proposal or not, there is little doubt that this summit represents one of the most coordinated international efforts for reparatory justice in recent history. The partnership between Africa and the Caribbean demonstrated a growing determination to confront historical injustice through organized legal and diplomatic actions rather than words alone. As the world watches this development unfold, the coming years may determine whether this movement becomes a defining movement in international justice. Now, if you find this analysis informative, kindly remember to subscribe, like, and share this indicator commentary. I'll be back with many reaction and comments and videos. Thank you so much, and let's continue commenting and reacting on the same video.